Let's read Psalm 99 verse 5. Because as I've thought about worship, now somebody would think that, oh, it's only about in the place of prayer and all that, in the church and all that. No, we have two types, two, if you like, two sides to the worship. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his footstool. So worship at his footstool is what I've just described. It's a place where you get to a place of intimacy. But there's also another kind of worship, which is Psalm 132 verse 7. 138 verse 2. 138 verse 2. I will worship toward your holy temple and praise your name for your loving kindness and your truth. For you have magnified your word above all your name. So you can worship at his footstool, which is a place of prayer, having intimacy, and all that, praising till you hit the place of worship, both corporately and personally. That is at his footstool. But then you can also worship toward his holy temple, or you are supposed to also worship toward his holy temple. And that is when worship becomes a lifestyle, not just in the place of prayer, a lifestyle of putting him first. Because what happens at the place of worship must be replicated in all aspects of your life. That posture of bowing before him, that posture of intimacy and love must be released into aspects of your life, all other aspects of your life. So even if it means that even if they were not physically in the temple, they could still worship toward the temple. Do you know what Daniel was doing? In Daniel chapter 6 verse 1 to 10. Daniel, at that time, the temple was God's embassy on earth. And so wherever you were, you had to establish your coordinates so that you could be aligned with the temple. So Daniel will always pray and he'll always open his window toward Jerusalem. That's a physical aspect. He opened his window. Okay. I think it's too long, so go to verse 10. Go to verse 10. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went home. And in his upper room, with his windows open toward Jerusalem. Why? Because the temple of God was at Jerusalem. He said, I will worship toward your temple. So Daniel was in Babylon, but he was still connected to the temple in Jerusalem. He knelt down on his knees 3 times that day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as was his custom since early days. When he was a teenager, he was doing that. He would open his window toward, because they taught them that the temple was God's embassy on earth. So wherever you are under the sun, you must make sure you locate Jerusalem and pray toward that place. And Solomon even said that if anybody prays towards this temple, may God answer him. So in faraway Babylon, Daniel was opening his window toward Jerusalem to pray. So it's not only about the time you spend with God, maybe in a room or when you come to church having corporate worship. That is not the only aspect of worship. All your life should be worship. That's why I say worship is a posture, worship is service, worship is sacrifice, and worship is consecration. Worship always revolves around an altar.